Now let's talk about the exception handling. We handle the exception by using keyword try, catch, finally. Especially when you have users to enter something into your program, that's the time you need to handle the exception, because users always enter the wrong information. Then you have to process the information. If there's the wrong information, you cannot process it. So that's time you need to handle the exception. So we use try, catch, finally to handle the exception. Now let's look at one example. In this program, we want users to enter a integer. Then we want to do division. So there are two things that a user needs to know. First, we want users to enter two integers, not letters. If user entered letters, then we couldn't do division. So that's the one thing we need to handle. Second, we want users enter two numbers for division, so the denominator cannot be 0 in division. So if user entered 0 as the denominator, then there's error. So let's see how to, if in this program we didn't handle any exception, let's see what will happen. So right here saying enter integer number. If enter 5, then enter 1, then we get a result. Nothing wrong with this. Let me do it again. Enter 5, and then enter 10, enter 2, and get a 5 as the result. This is a regular entry, so that's the for division, integer division. Now I'm gonna do it again. This time for the numerator, I enter a letter. Now when I hit enter, I get an error message right away, because right here convert to int cannot convert this string to integer. So it's called an unhandled exception. First of all, it's a format exception. Input string was not in correct format, because this function, this method to int32 is looking for number format, but we give letters here. So this is called a format exception. If you read it here, all these are given by the exception caught by the program itself. This is a parse in 32. That's the format we're looking for, but the string value cannot be converted to int32, and it happens at number 11. Now let me run the program again, and this time I enter 5. The second, so if I enter letters, I will get an error again, same as the previous example. I'll close it, and this time I enter 5 for the first number, then enter 0 as the denominator. We hit enter, get another exception. It says divided by 0 exception. Attempt to divide by 0 at this program, line number 18. This is not okay, because division cannot have 0 as the denominator. So that's the exception. So we need to handle the exception. So how do you do this? Now let's look at the second example. In the second example, we handle the exception using try. So this is the keyword try, then open curly brace, then close curly brace. So we'll put our code inside like this. same code that we saw before. It's in a do while loop because we want to repeat this program. If user entered the wrong information, we want user to enter again until user enter correct information. Then we can do a calculation right here. So put into a do while loop. So at the beginning it's true. So going do this. If there's anything happened, then we change to false then to stop the loop. I mean, if the program can go all the way down right here, and we change the value of the continue loop to false. That way the do while loop will stop. And notice here we have a try, and then we know this code will throw an exception if we enter letters or we enter 0 for the denominator. Then we use keyword catch to catch the exception. We know we have seen that this program will throw two types of exception. The first one is string format exception, the format, because this method is looking for a number string. So if you enter anything other than number, then the format exception will be thrown. Then we'll catch it here. So right here, format exception is a library class. This exception is thrown when the format of the argument does not meet the parameter specification of the invoked method. So we use format exception to catch any error thrown by toInt32 because this function will throw exception. Look at this here saying exception, format exception, overflow exception will be thrown by toInt32. Now we catch the format exception by using catch, open curly brace, close curly brace. After we catch the format exception, then we have this code here saying this exception right here. Message is the property of format exception. It gets a message that describes the current exception. And then we also want to print out this message, this string. If you enter 0 for the denominator, then this operator division will throw an exception, and then we catch divided by 0 exception, and we show the message of divided by 0 exception. Then we also show this message. Then after the exception is thrown either by this method or this method or by this operator, then this code will be ignored. This code will be ignored. It means the program will jump from here all the one either to this one or to this one. And then that means that this value is never changed to be false. Then there will be the for loop will start over to continue. Let's run this. So right here, this time I'm going to enter. Let's say first of all I'm going to enter a correct number here, enter 5. Then I say result 10 divided by 5 is 2, which is from line number 28 from here. And then this key, the value of the continue loop will be changed to false when the while loop will be stopped. That's why we get this result here. Now next I'm going to run the program again this time, and this time I'm going to enter AB as the first numerator, and then I hit enter. Now notice here when I hit enter, AB cannot be converted to integer, so toInt32 will throw a format exception, and it's caught by line number 32 saying the format exception message, which is input string, was not in a correct format. You must enter 2 integer, please try again, which is from line number 36 right here. And then I want me to enter integer numerator again, because after this exception is caught, after it is caught, we return back to the do while loop. We go from here. So notice here, it go. After this code is executed. go back to this line. You see that here? It go back to this line here. Because it probably jumps from this line to the catch block, and then it'll skip the second catch block because only one exception could be run each time, and only the first one exception is thrown. There's no divided by 0 exception thrown because the program just stopped right here. It stopped right here and jump to here, and then come here saying the value of continue loop is still true. It is still true because this line is not executed at all. Doesn't have chance to be executed. So it's still true. Then true come back to right here. That's why we see enter integer numerator. So I'm gonna enter 10 this time and hit enter. Now it comes to the next line here, the second one for denominator. So this is the message I see, which is right here. Make it narrow so that we can see it. Okay, so denominator, which is from this line here. Then I'm going to enter value here. So this time I still enter AB. When I enter AB cannot be converted to integer. So an exception will be thrown. We hit enter. Now you see, when I hit enter, I come to this block right here. And still, after this, so the program jumps from here to right here. And then it comes down to right here, while loop. We're still in the while loop. So the value here is still true. When it's still true, it go back to the first line. You see over here, numerator. Now enter 10, hit enter. This time enter 0. Enter 0. So enter integer numerator, which is from this line right here, and then I see this string message here, which is right here, and then when I enter 0, it'll pass this line and go all the way to right here, and then we see this one becomes 0. Then the operator will throw an exception, which is divided by 0 exception. So the program will jump to this block. So when I hit enter, you can see that it says attempt to divide by 0, which is from the message right here, from this message. And the next line is 0 is an invalid. So that's why we see this line here. And after it come to this line, because the exception is thrown, it's caught right here by using catch block, and come down right here. Of course, the value of continue loop is still true. So we go back to this line. Line number 18. That's why we see enter integer numerator. So this time I'm gonna enter 10 and enter 2, and nothing wrong with this one here. Now after we enter 2, then the division is done, and then it goes to the next line here. And that's why we see 10 divided by 2 equals to 5. And then this line is finally executed, and the value of continue loop is changed to false. When it comes to false, this one becomes false, and then the do while loop will be stopped, and that's the end of the program. So you can see from this example, we handled the exception. There are two types of exception we handled. One is format exception for conversion, and the second one is the denominator division, and it's handled very well, like this program. When the exception occurs, the try block terminates, and the program attempts to locate the matching catch block. A match occurs when the catch block catch the error, and the exception handler displays the exception message property, and the program ignores all other exception handlers of the following the try block. Only one exception. The first catch block. If the one catch block is caught, then the code will be executed, and the second one will be ignored. So just jump to the end.